Welcome back to Are You Ready for Stats? Today we're continuing on with our discussion of the ggplot and some nuances to it and the logic behind how ggplot works. So in the previous video, I talked about how that ggplot line was the boss. That's true, kind of. Like it wants to be, but sometimes there are aspects of it that can mess up the ggplot line and what you have. So what I'm going to illustrate in a moment is it's important when you're making these layers to make sure that the line below is adhering to what you're wanting to add and what you've done so far. So I am going to show you what happens when you start messing around with the aesthetics and create a difference in the way that you're layering. So in the ggplot line in line 14, my Y is time. Now in my geom column line, I'm saying I want X to be time. So you can see the graph that we created initially from weight being X and time being Y. And now I'm saying, no, just make X time. So here I'm going to run all of them. And what you'll notice is that it actually made X time, as we just asked, and Y time, but it's labeling the X axis still as weight, which is not what you want. And the reason it did that is because of that ggplot line. Like it still is bossing things around. It's just doing it the right way. So for me, I actually usually prefer not to have that aesthetic in two places. You really shouldn't. That's best practice. So I'm just going to have the data in my ggplot line. And then I would like to see what the difference is when we have X as time and Y as weight in my geom column. So this is basically like a scatter plot. So when I run this, I'm going to see a difference in the scales. Did I just change that? It didn't flip flop it for me. Oh, that's because I didn't run line 14. There we go. Okay. See, now I see the difference in the scales in my Y and my X. So I prefer to do like minuscule management in my geom option. So big one is the data, so I don't have to write what data I'm using anymore. And that's that ggplot line. And then usually I like to nuance within my geom option. Okay, so I'm going to show you just a few things to make it look a little bit fancier. So I'm going to fill so that we have different colors. And in my plot 0, I'm going to look at my data. So this is my data. We already have weight and time. And I'm going to fill by this variable diet. So it only has 4 levels, so that should be a nice fill. And remember, you use the same capitalization and spelling. So here I'm going to fill by diet. And I'm going to run line 16. But remember, at this point, it didn't print because I didn't call for it. That's what line 18 does. So 16 assigns, 18 prints. So here you can see I have differences in the different diet types. Now you can change because of the type of variables you have into different graphs. So technically this is a scatter plot that's showing as columns. The geom point option is going to be your scatter plot option. So I could put point here. And what you'll actually notice is this fill is no longer going to work because within the different geoms, they have different requirements for your code words. So here they actually use color. And one thing that I hate about the RStudio is it sometimes makes suggestions and you don't want it. So you can see it's color in the geom point instead of fill, which is what we had in the geom column, which makes sense because we're actually filling there. And this one, I'm just saying what I want the colors to be for the points. Okay, I'm going to go back to geom column and I'm going to switch this to fill. And then I want to show you what it looks like to actually make the graph into separate graphs by faceting. So I'm going to show you that in the next video. Hopefully this video helped. If it did, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video to talk about some faceting and how we label.